So why don't you just give me a quick brief about who Devin is, and then tell me a little bit about either Justice Democrats or Brand New Congress, how you got started with either of those.
Absolutely. So my name is Devin, and by day I am a therapist for homeless adolescents, and at night I do a lot of work for not just Brand New Congress or Justice Democrats, but organizations like Corporate Accountability International, which is focused on stopping corporate abuse, like Voter Choice Massachusetts, which is focused on getting ranked choice voting, or a variety of climate action groups. So the appeal of Justice Democrats and Brand New Congress is that in order to make real headway on these issues, we need kind of a changing of the guard as far as who's in charge of deciding our legislation. So those are groups that are endorsing, supporting, and giving power to candidates that are really for the people on issues and not for corporate interests. The importance there is that the people on issues are, in our interests. So climate policy that's in our interest, education policy, income inequality that's in our interest.
So you just said real quick, I just want to jump on that because super important. You said you want to change the power, right? Mm-hmm. So who would you say right now has the power? Who has the power right now?
That's a great question. I think that primarily people who have large sums of money and who are, in control of sections of our lives as far as corporate ownership. I think corporations specifically that have reached a level of transnationalism have a great deal of power because they are exempt from so many rules.
Of course, and which is horrific, absolutely horrific. I think it's the study after study has been shown that money influences politics, it just does influence politics, where public opinion has no influence on politics. And it was a very important Princeton study. Exactly, very good. So many people know of that, which is very scary to know when you think you live in a democracy where the truth is it's basically an oligarchy where it's just the money runs. Money runs the situation. So you said this is what you do. Have you always been a Democrat? Have you always been a progressive? Have you always had these values, did you grow up with these values knowing that they were part of you, and is that why you jumped in, or was there like a ticking point, or was there something that made you switch into, I need to become an activist because this is too much?
I would say what's evolved for me is my understanding of kind of who is responsible and where do you go. I think growing up I always felt drawn towards an anger at general injustice in the world. I have a background where myself, people in my family have been homeless. I've gone through a great deal of hardship, and that instilled early on that I really wanted to make the world a better place and not have people kind of in that position. When I was younger, I think the idealized version of that was what you said, the Democratic Party. And then getting older, and especially the awakening a lot of us have gone through with Bernie Sanders' recent presidential campaign, is seeing that even, an establishment that you might assume is kind of the foundation for where the fight should be, is sometimes working against you.
And it's like the most populist message I have ever seen in politics in my entire lifetime was Bernie Sanders. And to see him lose the primary and just get shunned by the media, it was horrific, it was painful. I was hurt. I was emotionally hurt. And I'm like, is it even worth it after seeing Bernie Sanders? Is it even worth it? So what gives you the energy? Because for me, it really did take me some time, especially Bernie Sanders losing was one thing, and then Donald Trump winning was an entirely different thing. So it was an emotional roller coaster for me and many others. What gave you the energy? What gives you the energy to come in every day, to be an activist, to keep on calling? Where do you get that?
I think there's a couple things. Being a counselor who works with mostly underprivileged folks, working with them through the election, I heard a lot of people saying, there was no one for me in that election. There was no one who was going to help me out of homelessness, something like that. And I think that is the point, that it's not a question of who supported this candidate, who supported this candidate. For one thing, there was record unfavorability on both sides. So the people voting for the majority on however they were voting not for someone but against someone else.
Of course.
And then you see all those large swaths of people who weren't voting. So when we think about who's in charge now, it was a roulette game, because if a very few minority are actually voting for who they want, who's to say who the people really want? Like, they just did not want what's happening. And in that, I think there's something a little hopeful, because when you see so many people are voting against what's offered to them, you have people who are ready for change. And I think in 2008, despite a great deal of disappointment in a lot of what Obama did, people voted for Obama because of a want of change. And so I don't see hope necessarily in the personalities who have changed and become president or other politicians, but I see hope in the want expressed by people to change systems.
And so then what are the goals right now of the Activist Sundays? And you could just a little bit about what Activist Sunday is, and then what is the goal? What are we trying to reach? Where are we going?
Yeah, so you're cutting right to the point. So Activist Afternoons, we want to provide both a space and the tools for activists to come together, create a regular sense of community, and succeed. So we're hosting a brand new Congress Justice Democrat event for Alexandria Ocasio tonight, all the way out in New York's 14th congressional district. And we're here in Boston. And that's kind of the spirit of activism, is someone's way out over there, and we're going to all pull together to help them, so that same thing when it's our turn.
Exactly.
And so this is what we want to do. We want to create a regular, reliable space where not just Brand New Congress or Justice Democrats, but our Revolution, CAST, organizations that are progressive, that want to make positive change in people's lives, can come together, find a space with people who are also looking for, I want to get my hands dirty, I want to help, I want to get myself in the fight. And so they can come here and they can have people, they can have a space, and now we're learning together how to use the tools so we can become more effective.
So I love that you said that, because the one thing with me is, like, I know we're in the digital age, we can technically get this done all online, everyone on their couch in their underwear. This technically can be done. But when you come here, it's a different feel. There's people around you. You have actual support. Mm-hmm. If you have a question, it's answered right away. There's people to go to. I love this. I think this is just great. It's putting, you're doing the actual work. Money where your mouth is. Mm-hmm. You're not just talking about it. You're doing some real activist work. I think it's great. And then you did just say that it's not just going to be, or it doesn't have to just be the Justice Democrats. So what do you think, moving forward, the ultimate goal? Is it specifically politics, or is it anything that is a progressive movement, right? Are you thinking like you want to change Congress into a Democratic progressive majority, or is it anything and everything progressive? Environment, Massachusetts can come. Any of those situations? So
I'm specifically working with Susan Landebar, and so as far as the question of who is kind of invited, that's a conversation with her, but we want people who want to be here, first and foremost, and who are making real change. So that's the ideal of what we're trying to build. When you say what is the ultimate goal, to me the ultimate goal is process, and so that runs counter to an endpoint. I want to see what we're doing here. I want to see a room packed. I want to see more people with a few different causes, all doing a few different things, and we're all working together, sharing our knowledge and our passion. So to me, the ultimate goal is that change, particularly progressive change, particularly moving forward change, is easier for all of us. It's more attainable with our hands.
I love that. There's no actual end goal. It's the process, and you want it to continue. No matter where we reach, we just want it to endlessly continue. I love that. Final question, very practical question. Where can we find you? Where do we sign up? And how do we get here?
So I'll speak to what's going on with this event right now. You can reach out to Brand New Congress, the Massachusetts chapter. You can find us on Greater Boston Brand New Congress Facebook page. Follow that. You can sign up for the Brand New Congress email list or the Justice Democrat email list, and specify that you're in Massachusetts. So we'll be able to reach out to you through emails. Future events may be affiliated through Susan Landebar, but for now, this event is specific to Brand New Congress. So please put your information in with them, and we'll change Congress.
Love it. Thank you so much, Devin. Dev, really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Q.